This is seminar number 3 out of 5. And it's dedicated to tactic listening. Is this thing on?
Yes.
This thing. Okay. So the light is... I don't remember English words anymore. Light goes boom, 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 meaning it's working, right? Nice. Here's my cup of coffee. It's important to have it as close as possible. Now, but the thing is, in talking about tactic listening, we're not going to be talking as much as we're going to be listening, obviously. So you're going to be listening today. And I'm going to try to explain to you how to listen actively. You're going to try this at the end of the seminar. So we'll do it every meeting we're doing more and more interactively, as you can understand. First meeting I was just talking, right? I was asking a few questions here and there, but basically it was all me talking. And the second was, I asked a few questions, right? I asked you to read a few things out loud. Today we're going to listen, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. So you can extrapolate this into the last meeting where you will be talking all the time. Okay? Did I scare you?
No.
Right? I hope I did. Anyway. So tactic listening. And I put this on I put this up at the first meeting. We're going to cover basics of active listening. And listening is a very important skill. It's not something you get granted. So this is there is a very important distinction between hearing and listening, right? So we're going to talk about the physical, perceptual function of your body and actually understanding, absorbing information and making conclusions and, getting value out of it. So there is a very important distinction. How to keep your attention keen, a few hints how to keep your attention keen, and of course I will reiterate about making notes. Now, in listening it's very important to understand what the person is saying. So if you don't understand, if the person is speaking unintelligibly, you know what this word means, right? No. You know what this word means? Unintelligible, meaning you cannot understand, you cannot process it. You cannot understand what he's saying. Next thing is it's going to be fun, adapting to accents. And with this, we'll covering the first 3 topics. We will, after covering them, we will have an exercise. So we'll show you a 5 minutes interview, and your task will be to be able to answer random questions from me about this interview. So you're going to have to apply all this to be able to do this successfully. Okay, let's put it this way. And guys in the audience, last time we were listening, I was asking 4 people. So you, I think. No, not you. You. And who else? Hey, Max is not here. But today I want the others to speak up more than the previous time. That's a very vague statement, but let's see how it works. Yeah, I'll say a few words about watching original movies, maybe suggest some examples, maybe you like them, maybe you don't, it's up to you, but I'll explain to you how I am doing this, how I'm watching movies, and how I am improving my English through watching movies. It requires nothing. You just have to work this out. Okay, any questions so far? No. Okay, that's good. It's very important to, as I said, understand what is active listening. So there are a lot of techniques. There is a lot of trainings in listening. Every salesperson goes through an active listening training. I know this because I was a salesperson. And I am still a salesperson, right? In a sense. Listening is a way of understanding the reality, understanding what is going on. And you achieve this by applying these 6 things. It's very hard to keep your attention at the top level throughout the conversation. So it's an hour and a half or 2 hours seminar right now. And eventually your attention span is going to go down. But you can still try to do a few things to counteract, to counter whatever this word is. Just not to get distracted and not to lose attention. Look interested, get interested is the first principle. You have to. There's a chain effect. So if you try to look interested, if you try to look involved, you will automatically get interested. You will get involved eventually. So it's your conscious effort to look interested and provide feedback and nod in agreement or disagreement or whatever. This is part of it. It also correlates with the second point, which is involve yourself by responding, right? And by responding, and I do not mean that you have to say yes or no, or you don't have to. You do not have to say anything. Your verbal language tells me everything. So you've done presenting before, right? You did present some things before. So you know when you look at the audience, there is someone who is nodding head in agreement, who's writing something down, looking at you all the time, keeping eye contact, right? You can say this person is listening. Because I see all of you are keeping eye contact. And this is a very good sign. Thing is also, when you involve yourself by responding to the person speaking, you get a feedback from this person. So the person automatically directs his attention at you. And this is also a good thing. Because this way you establish a communication which is two-way communication. You get involved and you understand better what the person is saying. This is this is number 2. Next thing is stay on target. When sitting in the audience, always keep in mind why are you here, right? So let's try this. Why are you here, Tatiana?
I'm here because I want to improve my English skills.
There you go. That's a decent target that you have here, right? You have to define it for yourself when you sit in the meeting. So, the way I am doing this, my approach, sorry, I'm all messed up today. My approach to this is, my target is to be able to ask a few questions to the presenter, right? And this is not a trivial task sometimes, because if you're listening to a bunch of rubbish which you've never heard before and you have no idea what the person is saying, there you go.
Hello. How are you?
We are fine. Thank you.
Okay.
So stay on target, please. Okay? The way I'm always listening to a person. Let's say you're at the students' conference, right? And someone is presenting something about the hydraulic fracturing. You can see the agitation. So if it's important to you, you will be tuned in. You will be listening because this is important. If you're not interested in this particular topic, what you can do is you have to develop this habit or develop this attitude of wanting to ask a question at the end. In order to ask a question, you automatically have to process the information and to put this into some form of a question. And a good hint here is that typically, by the way, what does this mean? CF. Who remembers the last meeting? Who remembers? Not who wrote this down? CF.
Compare.
Confer. Well, compare. So there's this saying, question holds 2/3 of an answer. I don't know if it's the same saying in English or not, but in Russian, did you hear this? Have you heard it before? Believe me, then. But you can try it out yourself. Typically, a question holds 2/3 of an answer. You cannot answer a question if it's not formulated in a way that it holds 2/3 of the information that it contains. So typically, any question formulated. But to formulate a question, you have to understand 2/3 of the topic, which is a good ratio, right? If you understand 2/3 of what the person is saying, that's a very good result. I'm telling you, this is not not always the case. Now, did I make myself clear? This is my personal approach to any kind of presentation that I'm listening to. I'm listening with an intent to ask a question, with an intention or with a goal to ask a question. Now, test your understanding. An obvious way is to, raise your hand and ask a question if you don't understand something. But before you do this, you have to process the information, right? You have to structure it, and you have to wrap your mind around it. Test your understanding. If you feel like you're losing a track, the best way is to raise your hand, ask a question. If it's a lecture, obviously you cannot do this in a seminar, in a like student conference. In this case, you write the question down to test your understanding later. Maybe it will be clarified during the presentation, maybe not, but at least you'll have a question down. Evaluate the message is a very important thing. There is this thing in English called the message. Do you know what this means? The message. So my message to you here is by adapting active listening, you're able to get more information, get more value for yourself for listening. So do you understand what is a message?
Yeah.
Right. The message is the sense, is the core of the speaker's message. Yeah, main idea, thank you. Not necessarily the main idea, but also it's hard to speak abstractly, you have to give an example, but the message, the underlying message. So, in verbal communication, people communication, natural language is it's subject to interpretation, right? So, if I tell, if I'm talking about any concept, your understanding will be different because we have different levels of understanding of this topic, let's say, okay? So, the underlying message may be hidden. It may not be obvious. The implications of what person is saying is something that is not obvious straight away. Yeah? So you have to analyze information and you have to evaluate the message and check with your notes. And last but not least, neutralize your feelings. There is nothing worse in listening than to get emotionally involved in the subject because you get distracted, you get carried away. So you just you act like a processor in listening. Okay, any questions to this? Why is it important? Why do you think is it important to listen? To not only listen, but to understand what you're listening to. Huh? It might seem obvious, but the difference between just let me go to the next slide. There's a difference between just listening without making notes and listening and active listening. So listening without making notes, and by making notes I don't literally mean you have to write everything down, but rather I mean that you have to make notes at least in your head, the key points, and structure it, structure the message, structure the presentation in a way that you can, you build this structure in your head basically. You can build it either on paper or in your head. But listening without making notes is simply wasting your time. Because what you get, your attention, this is the, you can see a lot of these pictures on the web. You can Google active listening, you will get thousands of links. And there is hundreds of consulting companies that teach active listening. So this is a typical representation of how the normal person of passive listening attention goes down. So it's very keen at the beginning of the presentation or of the meeting. And it goes down eventually until it reaches minimum point, and it goes up because when you realize, hey, it's about to end. I'm about to go some food, or get a job. Seriously. yeah, your attention goes down eventually. You can counter it. You know what the counter means, right? Yeah. Yes, you know the counter attack, right? The word counter attack. Yeah. So you counter means you defend yourself against it, or you offense it actually. Yeah, you offense it actually. You push it away. So you counter the attention decrease. Thing is, typical person can only hold 7 plus minus 2 ideas in his head. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
This is taught everywhere. Every psychology, every sociology, I don't know, maybe mostly psychology though. Every psychology course has this kind of a constant. So you have 7 plus minus 2 ideas, things that you can keep in your mind at the same time. And if they, sorry?
Not only ideas, it's about people too.
Sorry?
It's about people and team too.
You mean persons?
Person.
I didn't think of it this way, but maybe you're right. The thing is, this has to deal with what is called operational memory. Like a computer has operational memory. You have it too, right? So you have a limited space, or limited space for this. What do you do if you can't cope with the amount of ideas?
To know the idea.
You put them down. You write them down. You make a note. Have your notepad in front of you. And this is not to test your writing skill. This is to make sure that if you eventually want to go through to go through the meeting and go through the presentation, you will have something, a skeleton, that you can reconstruct the whole thing upon. And there is a very important thing to understand, that so you might think that after getting this presentation you will be able to go through it, right, and reconstruct the whole meeting. This is not the case. This is something that I put down just as a keystones for myself to be able to explain the ideas. And they do not capture the ideas accurately enough. Plus something comes up during the meeting. So you have your notepad in front of you, you write it down, and you look through the notes as you look through the presentation. This is probably the best way to do it. Now, a key, somewhat interesting technique, somewhat controversial technique, but a very important and useful one is allow yourself to drop out sometimes. So the thing is, you cannot keep your attention at the highest level all the time. Nobody can. I cannot, nobody can. So you allow yourself to drop out, meaning you distract yourself, you write something on the paper, write like flowers or birds, doesn't matter, right? You switch off. It's called drop out, yeah, the correct way. Then you tune back in, and you tune back in full force, right, in full attention. And this is what this curve is about. So this is a typical curve, as I said, passive listener. This is what active listening is about. So you give yourself permission, I'll read this out actually, it's important. You give yourself permission to drop all the way out, right, of the conversation, make a note in your pad, then come back, all the way back. Now, the research shows, that active listener, it's called idea productivity here because it's all about taking notes of ideas. But the active listener absorbs or is able to extract 4 times more information than the person who just sits back, relaxed, and pretends to be listening. So I hope I make this distinction clear. There is listening, meaning an act of having some buzzing come into your ear, in one ear and coming out of the another, right? So as my very good mentor and doctor of sciences in Germany, he said, a typical person has 2 ears, in and out, right? Input, output, yeah. That's That's more intelligible. But input and output. That's exactly the case. If you're not having, if you don't have something in between the ears, in the sense that you also, yeah, this is what I forgot to say before. Your hearing is not the only thing involved in listening. You also listen with your eyes, you listen with your brain, and you listen with your with your body basically. So in Chinese, I didn't put this on the picture unfortunately, but in Chinese, the hieroglyph to listen consists of an ear, obviously, right, as everybody would expect. Ear, undivided attention, and the heart. So information goes through the ears to your heart. Well, in Chinese, the heart is it's what we call the in Western tradition it's called the mind, right? In Chinese tradition, it's called the heart. So it's a similar concept. The only difference is that Chinese is a bit different in the sense that they're closer to the nature of things. Right? So they interpret the act of listening as having this information absorbed not by physical organs but your spirit. Right? I like this gesture. I'm going to repeat it a lot. Your spirit. Okay, any questions?
It's a cartoon about horse. Spirit.
What?
Spirit. It's a cartoon about horse.
Horse? That's unacceptable.
It's interesting to find the area under these two graphics. Is
But
the second one is higher, bigger than this curved one? Because if you draw the average line, maybe it would be not the more.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying. You're thinking like a mathematician. But the thing is, no, it's correct. This picture is not drawn by a mathematician. Yeah, obviously. I will draw it like this, like in reality. Oh yeah, this is another thing. I'll tell you a bit later. But this talks about not just having you. It's not about keeping the attention all the time. First of all, we cannot do this. Second thing, it's not necessary typically. So, you've had theory of information, right, in your courses. So the information theory, and there's a work. There are works from Shannon and Fenot. So they are what they say. Shannon, right? You know this name. Shannon, Fenot. Shannon, Fenot theorem about information.
No.
So full of it, guys.
It's a good restaurant in Moscow.
Oh, shut up, would you please? Now, so the theory, when the information theory started building up after the Second World War, so the real theory. So they've looked at the natural language and they've seen that the natural human language is excessive, meaning that the quantity of information in the actual letter is somewhat. I'm trying to remember because there's a very interesting paper. Something like 50%, only 50% of the natural language presents actual information. Right? So the human language is excessive. By tuning out, you don't miss some. You will hear when you miss something important. You will come back to the listening. You understand what I'm saying? So by listening and tuning out, you don't make a sacrifice of information because human language is excessive. Plus, what you're doing typically is while you're listening, you're making notes, meaning you're kind of multitasking, right? Multitasking is a myth for men, but girls do this all the time. Yeah. No, seriously, read some psychology studies on the cognitive psychology. You will read this thing again and again. Guys cannot multitask. But at the same time, you can keep kind of a, you can kind of scan for useful information. So if something useful comes up at the, during the presentation, while you are making notes, you will immediately be able to recognize it and direct your attention to the presentation. Yeah, and I wanted to say one thing about the noise. So there is a lot of noise. There is something happening in the street, something happening in your head. From this perspective, remember this last point there? What was the last point? Number 6 in listen. Come on, you were making notes. I've seen some of you. No, the 6th point, the last point. N. The N stands for?
Allow yourself to drop out and come back.
Neutralize your feelings. So your feelings are also noise in listening. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. You were not listening. Now I'm telling you. You were not. None of you.
Average grade here is not 7 but 5.
No, 7 plus minus
it
2.
was 6th position in this one. And N was this.
Yes. Yes.
So it was dropped out.
Sorry, I don't understand.
7
So
minus
there was
2.
Yeah, there are 5, there are 6 letters, and everybody remembered just 5 because it's
So yeah, that's possible, but my explanation is that nobody was paying enough attention to grammars. It's a key thing, to pay just enough attention to grab the concepts. Maybe it's because of English. Maybe it's because I'm talking way above your head. I don't think so, honestly. Because there was, I just, today in the morning, I read a very good article, a very good study of the 1st grade and 3rd grade students. And I'm going to explain it to you. So what they did is that they evaluated 1st grade and 3rd grade students, and they've, after, so they had to sit through the seminar. They had to listen to something, yeah, some presentation. After that, they had to complete the test about the contents of this presentation. So there were 2 groups of students. Yeah? So there were students who were judged, they were evaluated by their behavior, how they listened. So the students who were nodding and they were making notes and keeping eye contact all the time, their results were 20–25% higher than the students who were just sitting, yeah, like you, sorry, like you exactly.
It was my group.
You understand what I mean by this? There is a difference, but you don't, well, let me put it this way, and let's close this subject after that. So let me put it this way, very clear. It's, it depends on you, only you, to develop this attitude, right? It's, I'm taking no offense if you can't answer my question, what is N, because after all, it's your life, okay? If you think that, okay, I picked this up in the States, of course, yeah. So if you think that you will not use this information further down the line, I mean, in your further life, you might be very seriously wrong. Because what I've realized is that there is no information that is not used at some point in your life. So everything you're listening to is useful for you. It's a good skill to develop your brain, it's a good skill to develop your analytical capabilities, and it's a good skill to keep your attention keen all the time. Right? So the life is about directing your attention to certain things. That's all life is about, in my opinion. Okay. Are we clear here? Can we proceed to the next level?
Yes.
Right. So this was a kind of a lecture from me on the active listening. Now, do you know this movie? Do you recognize the frame from this movie? Snatch. Yeah. What's it in Russian, in Goblin's translation? You don't want to speak Russian, okay? And you don't want to use swear words either, huh? Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you is there are a lot of situations. Let's first serious. It's kind of funny anyway. That's not gonna work. I remember. Okay. Let me switch to this.
Well, do you want to do it?
That depends.
On what?
On you. Hey, this caravan. Not the Rouge, the Rose.
It's not the same caravan.
It's not the same flight.
What's the fucking size of the last one?
Turkish, the flight's twice the size. If your master needs a caravan, I like to look after my lad. It's a fair deal. Hey.
Mickey, you're lucky we aren't worm food after your last performance. Buying a Tark's Mobile Palace is a little fucking rich. Wasn't calling your mum a tart, I just meant...
I'll save you about to clear your parts. Look, so much heck to your roof lights. The stand sauce frame furniture, and the scarper cushions with the matching shampoo cover. Hey. Hey. It's a terrible parcel to the petty with the blue bags. Have I made myself clear, Bass?
Yeah, that's perfectly clear, Mickey, yeah? Just give me 1 minute to confer with my colleague. Did you understand a single word of what he just said?
Okay, so this is Snatch. It's a hilarious movie by Guy Ritchie. You can watch it. I don't understand shit when I listen to it. Because the way... And they say it in the beginning. This Mickey, the Brad Pitt guy, the Brad Pitt character, he's a pikey, or the gypsy, right? So they say it in the very beginning, I hate those gypsies because when they call them pikeys. It's British, English, whatever. I hate those pikeys because you cannot understand what the hell he's talking about. So he says it in the very beginning. And here's the case. But and now imagine yourself at the place of this Turkish guy. His name is Turkish.
Because he was born in Turkish airplane.
Yeah, exactly. So you know the story. It's a fun movie. A lot of swearing, of course, a lot of foul words, but what can we do? Now, so the Turkey, what would you do in place of Turkish? How would you handle the situation rather differently? Because what he's saying, I mean, to be honest with you, so from this conversation I can get the general idea, but I would not be able to repeat it. So do you want to watch it again? No? Yes? No? We can skip it. Oh, we'll have some more things to watch. Anyway, what you do in this situation, you have to ask the person to repeat in some manner, right? Instead of just saying, okay, I understood, just don't assume that you understood. If in doubt, ask a question. So, I've put here just from the top of my head a number of ways. And I was going to draw a line between formal conversation and informal conversation. And here I tried to do this. So, look at this chart. Or at this list, I'm going to ask every one of you a question, and you're going to pretend you don't understand the question. And from my question, you also will have to derive whether I'm asking it in a formal way or informal way. So let's go through this. The formal way. And you always say this as with your eyebrows going up and stuff like that. What? What? Sorry? What's that? As I said, what's that is a thing I picked from. No, it's a totally different way. So you ask this question with the same intonation as you would say sorry. You say what's that? No. Huh? This part is more of a when you don't necessarily misunderstand, or when you don't think you understand the meaning. So you've heard the person correctly, but what he said makes no sense. Okay? Huh? It's a bit of a surprise about what the person is saying. Say what? It's a bit more drastic. Yeah, say what, say what. It's a typical thing. Come again? Come again is a good one actually. No, it's rarely used, but asking the person to repeat basically. Now, there's a constatation of fact. he lost me here. So it's not a question per se, but that's a good way to indicate you're tuned out in the conversation. Now there are two things I put here on purpose, because you will not only be talking to English native speakers, but you will also be talking with international. So in German, who knows what's the analog of sorry in German? Bitte? Exactly, yeah. Or wie bitte? Literally meaning how? Please? Wie bitte? Entschuldigung is a formal way, yeah, but wie bitte is what they are. So even Germans, they in their conversations in English, they say bitte, because it's too automatic. And direct translation is please. You will not hear it from a native speaker, I think. I've never heard. But I've heard it from Germans. Now, how? What's the French for how? No, that's not. Come on? Exactly. Perché esta bonita. Okay. I don't know Spanish anyway. Come on is the French way, native French way of saying sorry, meaning asking to repeat. So sometimes they say how, and you should not be surprised, because it means you're speaking to a French person or a native French speaker. Now, on the other hand, in a conversation, in a meeting, or a conference or whatever, you will meet a lot of formal ways of asking. I'm not putting all of them simply because there are a lot of ways to construct a sentence, as you understand. But there are kind of classical forms like I beg your pardon, English-sized way of it. I beg your pardon. Now, I'm not sure I follow. It's another very good expression. You look like you're concerned about something. No? You okay? You getting it? So I'm not sure I follow, meaning literally I'm not sure I follow your logic. Okay. Could you please repeat? It's a standard way. Nothing special about it. I'm sorry, what was that? Remember the last time I showed you the Alice in Wonderland? She asked exactly this. I'm sorry, what was that? What was what? Now, this is, if you take only this part, it's the same thing here, right? What's that? So here it's not actually what is that, but it's what was that. All the same. I'm sorry, what was that? Or, I'm sorry, what did you say? So, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I can count to 15, huh? And we have 12 people in the audience. So you're gonna, I'm not gonna probably ask all of you, but and I don't have that many questions. But you're going to, so yeah, your task is, you are going to pretend you don't understand the question. And you're going to ask me back using one of these 15 ways. And based on the formal or informal way I'm asking a question, you're going to pick an answer that's appropriate. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start from Alexander. What else now?
I beg your pardon.
There was more of an informal. Okay, so we cross this out. I beg your pardon. That's good. Yulia, would you be able to come to the next lecture?
Sorry?
You see, there's a contrast. So in the way I'm asking the question, I'm kind of doing it in a formal way. So I'm addressing you by name, and using things like would you be able? You could say could you anyway. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Artem, why the heck did the camera didn't work last time?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't know what I want to say. I'm sorry, what was that? It's typical. Well, when you're talking to a senior person, yeah, you would literally almost always use formal ways because you cannot say sorry. But let's pretend we are peers, okay? So, Tatiana, please tell me, what is the stage of your research?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You're saying this all the time regardless, you know? And you pretend to not understand what I'm saying. Okay, now let's switch to informal probably. Yeah, how did you like the party last night?
What?
What do you think about me? How is a French?
No, yes.
You should, yeah. That was a good try, but you should. My point is, you should typically avoid the. I'm adding this just for the sake of completeness, okay? So you could say "come on." I wouldn't understand it probably, but that's good. Now, where were you last night?
So what?
Okay, that was a bit of fun. Now, so did you make out with this sheep?
Could you repeat it, please?
I could if I would if I could, yeah. Now, Nastya, how is your work with Kalman's filters progressing? Very good. Now nobody says, I'm not sure I follow. I have to say something long. Tatiana. Tatiana, how are you? Sorry? Now, yeah. So are you not in the union anymore?
You lost me.
Okay. Beginning. Where's your next meeting with the subject?
What's that? Where's the meeting?
Anton, so you're all about synergetics, are you?
Come again?
That's good. Well, you understand the ending, right?
Yeah.
So, let's move on. Now, it's going to be a lot of fun here, but typically I have no. So, what would you say about the question that's put on this slide? What is the hardest accent you've come across?
Indian and Chinese.
Indian.
Indian, Chinese,
Scotland.
Scottish. Any other?
Indian.
Indian.
Irish. Scottish is okay.
Irish. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, what about American? American is fine, right? What about American redneck?
What?
The typical farmer. That's right up here in his hand. No. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a few bits of. Yeah, I'm going to show you almost all of them, except for. Yeah. The question I'm going to ask: what's the easiest accent you understand that you've come across?
Russian.
Yeah, that's nice. That's more or less my impression. My impression, Chinese. Yeah, Chinese people speak like hell. I cannot make sense. Scottish is also very hard. Nigerian. When you talking like that. my previous post manager was Nigerian. So when he was talking to me, he was kind of trying to sound distinctly. When he was talking to his friends on the phone, I couldn't make any sense of it. Now, so let's try this. Let's start from the. So the thing is, there's this guy who recorded a video with 24 different accents. Yeah, some of you might have seen it, but there's this guy. So I'm going to ask you what is his native accent at the end, right? So try to guess. Now the English formal. So RP stands for received pronunciation.
Great, fantastic. Thanks a lot. Oh, and don't forget to bring the briefing documents and insurance papers. Yes, great, thank you.
Okay, so this was formal received pronunciation.
Like airport.
Huh?
Like airport.
You will hear this a lot in English movies, that's correct. Now this is called posh accent. You can, see if you can make a difference.
I mean, if you ask me, there are a great number of individuals on that list who I most deeply despise. One of them has been my family's arch rival since the mid-18th century. Yeah.
So you still could understand, right?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Which kind
All these intonations and kind of the most deeply despised. So most deeply despised is a very typical. So it's not only the accent; it's also the phrases or the idioms that he's using that are interesting. Now, okay, let's go. Let's try something useful.
All right, it's Dave there. You all right, mate? How's it going, son? Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Just doing a bit of DIY. This place is a fucking shithole, but I'll have it sorted in no time.
London.
This is London Cockney accent. And if you watch Guy Ritchie, if you watch the same Snatch movie, there is a guy there who speaks exactly like he is showing here. It's a Cockney accent. It's a gangbang type of thing, right? I don't know if I'm making myself clear. So they're English.
I woke up this morning to see some bastard who stole my cheddar. Anyway, are you coming with me later to see Plymouth Argyle? Nice. Green arm, mate.
Noise. You heard this noise? As a bit Scottish, but wait until you hear the real Scottish accent.
A baseball bat, an Uzi, and a petrol bomb. And then he fucking dropped to the floor unconscious. Unconscious? Can you believe that? And I just sat there thinking, is it me, or is he just a wee bit off his head?
It's interesting, eh? What did he say? You know, the guy is...
Petrol bomb?
Huh?
Petrol bomb?
Yeah, maybe. That's a shame on me, but... So he's, yeah, Uzi is a... And he dropped on the floor unconscious, and yeah, I can't understand it. Can you? Так, shit. Yeah, I didn't. Oops, I didn't begin. Yeah, that's good. Now, where was I? Okay, so now let's switch to America. There are hundreds of others. There's a whole movie. I'll send you a link. You'll look it up. You can look it up, and we can.
Dude, I'm not an asshole. I don't like talking to people like that, but that bitch had it coming. Seriously, at the end of the day, some people just take the piss. I was really good to her, and she treated me like a fucking doormat, and that is not cool. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll see you later, dude.
Huh? What? Like he's just chatting random stuff. That has nothing to do. Hey, you're familiar with this accent? You look like you're familiar with it. Now, I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole.
I can't understand a goddamn word you're saying, you stupid retard. I ain't gonna sit here trying to figure out what kind of mumbo-jumbo jibber-jabber bullshit's coming out of your stupid chicken shit mouth. Marianne, give me another beer. And make sure it's cold this time, bitch.
This is what the typical redneck accent sounds like. Redneck, yeah, the redneck. It's a farm accent of Texas. Yeah, that's why I'm. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And where is Nigga's accent?
In the full video, he speaks with a Jamaican accent. Jamaican? No, wait. Now we're going to the foreign accents. So as I told you, we have what? These are native. Oh, Australia. I forgot Australia. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't include Australia.
Russian, maybe. Sir.
Right. Okay. Yes, it's the building by the fish market. Well, since your last visit, we've got the shower working. And well, Bill's always on his way down to open the back gate. So, the only question is, where the bloody hell are you? What a fucking joke.
Where the bloody hell are you? No? This is the last phrase. To me, something in between English and US and America. You're all confused. Why?
We're trying to understand what he's saying.
He's talking to his friend. He's asking why he is not coming to see him. They've got the pool and they've got this. They're not going to recite it anyway. You can look at it later to make sense of it. Now let's go to the most interesting part, because as a shitloads of accents worldwide, and the funniest accents are of course German and French, because you are going to meet.
Trying to figure out the button layout, but if you see Heinrich, just remember to pass on this message to him, that he is a fucking cheat. That's all. Thank you.
It's very stereotypical, but have you heard it before? Have you heard German person speaking? I think you should agree that it's pretty close. This guy is pretty amazing actually, in what he's doing. Now let's move on. Let's look at French. And French is important because the person speaking at your kind of batch. Test today will be speaking French. He's native French speaker.
Bonjour. Oh, sorry. Yes, I do speak English. So you want me to pass this message on to him now? No? Okay, well, I will notify him that you are trying to contact him. Okay, thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Very, very stereotypical. And they don't try to sound like English anyway. In Schlamberg we had a lot of bosses from France. So the division I was in, the president was French, all the vice presidents French, all the managers, half of them were French. Now, what was it? Italian, right? Italian.
Well, I tried to tell him before, but there was a communication issue. There was nothing I could do. I'm so very sorry that this happened. You need to go compare yourself. I regretfully inform you that it is now outside my responsibility.
The way he constructs the phrase is very... Plus he's speaking slower here rather than in English videos. So you can understand more probably, right? Now, what's the next one? Let's go according to the plans. Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my...
I assure you that I told Mr. Wang that the business plan was to go forward. I don't have to keep running around fixing every little mistake that these stupid, incompetent people make. I have a fucking business to run here and I don't need the hassle. Good day to you.
It's weird, right? So it's really weird when a Chinese person is speaking. On the other hand, Japanese...
Mr. Wang. Meet me at my apartment in Nagasaki tomorrow at 4 p.m. These people think because they say nothing, they're strong. Well, tomorrow, all behind this will be shamefully exposed.
I think he picked all these things from the movies though. Because it's shamefully exposed. It's very kind of Japanese way of saying, phrasing the word. Right? Because Japan is all about dignity. Now, I think we have one more before Russian. Yeah, no, that's the last one. Okay, now, just to show you how good is this guy, listen to the Russian accent.
Yuri! Hello! It's Nikolai here! I will never forget that time in Moscow when Mikhail stole Dimitri's vodka and then he started singing Soviet national anthem. Remember that time in Volograd when Dimitri stole the police motorbike and crashed into ice cream parlor?
Do you see? It's really good, right? Very stereotypical again, and Volograd instead of Volgograd. Vodka is there, yeah. Vodka and drunk Russians crashing into ice cream. Exactly. But do you agree with me? He's really good. So I'll paste the link to this video into the VK group. Now, what's his native accent? How do you think? What is his native accent? Where's he from? Is he a native speaker, first of all?
Australia.
Did that? Australia? Any other? US? Okay.
Yes.
Any other?
British, no?
British, but maybe be more specific, please. Yes, there's a lot of...
Maybe he's Russian.
No, he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like
Haven't you said
American either.
Haven't you said that he's from
Maybe he's German.
No.
No?
German.
No. There's a lot. You see how good he is that you can't say where he's from, right? Now I'm going to put up his natural accent.
Right, that's all I can do for now. Obviously, some were a little bit off. You know, I did make some mistakes here and there. You know, I'm only human. No one's perfect. But I did my best, and in no way meant to offend anyone or insult anyone's accent or culture or whatever. Even if I did chat random stupid stuff on the phone, it's just because I couldn't think of anything to say really.
Yeah. So he says that his native accent is kind of in London with a bit of Scottish and with a bit of Irish, because he's half Irish himself. His parents were Irish. It's a very weird mixture of accents, in my opinion. The way he sounds, like myself, because I have all sorts of different kinds. So you're going to develop your own, but make sure that people can understand you. Okay? Cool, please. What's that? Okay, let's move on. Now, speaking about the Italian, somebody has seen it probably as well. But wait, the reason I am saying please try to make people understand you in the correct way, because sometimes it can lead to a situation like this. I'll just let you listen. It's called a Italian man goes to Malta. Oh, rubbish. What? It's called An Italian Man Who Went to Malta.
The Italian Man Who Went to Malta. One day I'm going to Malta to big hotel. In the morning I go down to eat a breakfast. I tell a waitress I want 2 pieces of toast. She brings me only 1 piece. I tell her I want 2 pieces. She say go to the toilet. I say you no understand, I want to piss on my plate. She say you better no piss on the plate, you son of a bitch. I don't even know the lady and she calling me a son of a bitch. Later, I go to eat at a bigger restaurant. The waitress brings me a spoon and a knife, but no fork. I tell her I want the fork. She tell me everyone want a fork. I tell her you no understand, I want a fork on the table. She say you better not fork on the table, you son of a bitch. So I go back to my room in a hotel, and there is no sheets on the bed. Call the manager and tell him I want a shit. He tell me to go to the toilet. I say you don't understand, I want a shit on my bed. He say you better not shit on my bed, you son of a bitch. I go to the checkout and the man at the desk say peace on you. I say peace on you too, you son of a bitch. I'm going back to Italia. Arrivederci.
I think it's pretty hilarious. You don't need any comments, do you? Yeah, I watched this many times in preparation, but I think it's still hilarious. So, there are 2 things about this. First of all, you have to use the correct grammar, first of all. Correct grammar, so that you're not misinterpreted. I want a piece. Right? It sounds like. Plus, the person who is listening is not always, a native speaker, so he might not be able to understand what you're trying to convey, and there's all sorts of miscommunication happening. Now, let's do this. What time is it?
1:30 a.m.
That's good.
Okay.
So honestly, who looked at this presentation that I've uploaded to the VK group? Nobody gave a damn. Okay. So let's put your skills to test now then. It's about listening to what he's saying. Then I'm going to ask a few questions, random people a few questions. And the reason I'm putting this presentation, or not presentation, but I've shown it on the lecture before, right? So you've seen this presentation. So this guy essentially is the president of what? Of the SBC, right? From the Business Consultants. He will be talking about the industry generation shift. And why this is doubly important is because you are the next generation that's going to the industry. No? Right? I'm going to rub this in, you know? To rub in? To understand this analogy. So, what I want to say, I want to make you understand something. Instead, I'm saying I'm going to rub this in. So, you rub in the oil when you're massaging a person. I like massaging, so I know. You rub the oil in. So, I'm going to rub this message in. You are the next generation in the oil and gas industry. And it's very important. And here is why. What is this? All stone. 5 minutes movie. It's a long movie. Yeah, I'm just warning you. So, very few questions that I'm going to ask. So please, pay attention and of course, be active listeners. Okay? Just say hello to him when he appears and so on. Okay. Whoa. You ready?
Welcome to Zero Week Online. We're here with Antoine Rostand, the Managing Director of Schlumberger Business Consulting, and we're going to talk about benchmarking people. Antoine, it's really great to have you here, and you guys have done an awful lot of what I'd describe as groundbreaking work in looking at people and benchmarking the HR issues. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of what you've done and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so we have been concerned about this big crew change. 10 years ago, we started to really create some data to be able to quantify and provide call for action for the industry.
Right.
And in 2003, 2004, the big theme was recruiting. Companies were not recruiting enough. We provided data. And then most companies have started to recruit much more. In fact, the industry level recruitment has quadrupled between 2003 and 2006, 2007.
Right. Now, of course, that was in part a response to a soaring oil price. And I guess that only made the problem more acute because the near retirees were becoming richer with their stock options and therefore more likely to leave. So how did you catch up?
So there were two themes that emerged exactly in 2008, 2009, I mean a bit before the crisis, which is retirement. So what do you do to keep people longer? So there was a lot of thinking around extending retirement and bringing these people as coaches. Right. But also the next theme was also how do I develop my people faster, the people that were just recruited. Because the industry was kind of conservative, taking 12 years, 15 years to develop autonomous professional. Yeah. And the theme was can I reduce time to autonomy? How do I accelerate the competency development of my people? Right. And that was the big theme that came up of our benchmark in 2006 or 2007.
Right. Now, I don't mean you to take this the wrong way, but when we were young, I remember that we had an accelerated development program. It was called throwing people in at the deep end and letting them get on with it. When did the industry stop trusting young people and putting them on this step-by-step development process?
So in '86, with the crisis, then most companies started to stop recruiting. Yeah. And then they had the problem to slow down the career of their technical people because there was not enough space for them. So there was a complete slowdown of development in the early 90s. Yeah. And we had to revert that completely at the boom in 05 or 06.
So it sort of mirrors the whole peak oil debate that we've gone from perceptions of shortage into a perception of abundance. So are we in the stage of abundance in terms of people in the industry?
No, not today. So we recruit enough graduates, and the university system is good to, is providing the right level of graduates. But there will be a massive exit of the baby boomers. Right. And the challenge for the coming 5 years is going to this generation change. Right. With leadership, lead development, succession planning, how are we going to replace the existing infrastructure, management infrastructure of the industry with the Gen Y?
So to what extent is this an OECD, Western old men rather than a global phenomenon? How does it break down geographically?
So it is really a global phenomenon, and this is really the data we provided was to go outside the US, where we do have good data with SP, but there was no data outside of the US. So it really depends on the countries, but it is really a problem in Middle East, it is a problem in Russia, it is a problem in Africa, obviously, but different problem, but then it's really a global phenomenon.
And how does it split between the operating companies and the service companies? Do you find that they're poaching people from the service companies, and so they've almost exported the problem further down the food chain?
So the demographics of service industry and the oil and gas industry is very different. So we don't see this double amp in the service industry. It's a younger industry because we have been recruited more. I mean, the business model is very different, and we have to rely on relatively, a young population to be able to deliver on the field.
So where does the future look from your perspective? What's going to be the seminal issue in terms of people for the next 5 and 10 years?
Really, it's a generation change. You look at Sarah, the Sarah week in 5 years will be very different. It will be the average age will have reduced by 10 years. You will have social media, and it's really something we have to imagine the industry in 5 years from now. It will be completely different, and we have to change all the leadership. Because,
so discomfort for dinosaurs like me is what you're saying.
Well, I am not the same,
Antoine, it's been great having you here.
Okay, David,
Thanks very much for talking with us. This has been Antoine Rostand, Managing Director of Schlumberger Business Consulting here at CIRA Week 2013.
Okay. I can see by your faces that you probably didn't expect this. Didn't see this coming, did ya? Now, what was his accent? French. He's French, 100%. To deliver on promises, that's no mistake about it. It's French. Now, yeah, just put up the random. Most companies started to. Yes, French. You know the distinction. Distinguishable feature of French is that they put emphasis, they put stress on the last syllable. So instead of saying company, they'll say company. Okay, typically. Most of them. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell. So what are you making of all that? Did it make any sense? Okay, let's start from Eliada. What was the main idea of his presentation?
Main idea.
Yes. What was the main idea?
It's about his company, which recruits.
Maybe we should have a round table. Anyone who can share any ideas? Just what do you think the main idea was?
Well, he told us about the Schlumberger company and about the specialists which worked there. About baby boom, which was some years ago, and about the specialists who were burned during this baby boom and worked there.
And what's wrong? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the baby boomers?
We have.
What's wrong? Why did he mention specifically baby boomers?
A lot of people and not a lot of work.
Remember, who are the baby boomers? Who are the baby boomers? Baby boomers are these guys here.
Yeah.
People who were born in the baby boom. So I'm not necessarily saying you were wrong. By the way, you should write this down at some point. I'm not necessarily saying that you are wrong, but it's not about Schlumberger. It's about the industry.
Yes. He speak about benchmark in recruiting.
It's good that you can read. Now, so the baby boomers, these wires is how they call you, basically. The new generation. Oh, give it up. The problem, what's wrong with this? What did you say about the baby boomers?
There are no specialists in this industry.
Okay.
They should, specialists which
maybe because they become older and company needs new generation.
New generation.
Company needs to replace them. not replace it, it's called succession planning is what it's all about. So they are about to be, by the way, they said another word in Russian. Anyway. Huh? I'm not going to repeat this. Now, okay, so again, what was wrong with the baby boomers? They're getting old. Baby boomers is what they call baby boomers are people who were at the age of 60, over 45, over 50, almost 10 years ago. So in 5 to 10 years, they all going to retire. And you see this is what they call double M. Double M, he said this, right, in his speech. So they see in the industry double M. So there was, okay, so this one understood, these are baby boomers. Who can say what is this second M? Why it appears? He said in the very beginning what they did. We can get an understanding of why this.
They make programs in university, and the people who exit from universities, they give them job.
It's not exactly what you said, though. What is said?
We provided data in 2003, 2004, the data to be able to quantify and provide call for action for the industry.
Oh, call for action for the industry. So in 2003, they issued a call for action. You understand what this means? Call for action is an urge to act, basically. They spread out the message to the industry that they should recruit people in 2003. Here's what you said.
And in 2003, 2004, the big theme was recruiting. Companies were not recruiting enough. We provided data. And then most companies have started to recruit much more. In fact, the industry level recruitment has quadrupled between 2003 and 2006, 2007.
So, 2003, 2006, 2007. These are these people. This is the second album. Okay? This was before the crisis. Which crisis he was talking about?
About young engineer in the company.
No. It's not the engineer crisis. It's economic crisis. What happened in the oil industry in 2008? Yeah, 9. People get fired. Yeah. People got fired, yeah. One of these people is standing right in front of me.
Because of the crisis.
It's because it's raining. Yeah. Okay, you get an idea. So they stopped hiring as much as they hired in 2003, 2006 because of the crisis. Couldn't afford to hire more people. These people are going to retire. There's not enough people hired. What did he say about the university, by the way? Huh? He's looking at you like that. What are you? What the hell are you? He's waiting.
University is a good source of good qualified engineers.
It really depends on the country, but it is really a problem.
Oh.
In the US, we do have good data with SP, but there was no data.
He's saying that the universities right now are producing enough people to fill the gap. What is the main problem with the young people filling the gap? What are the main issues connected?
Leadership.
Huh?
They don't want to work.
I can see in your case. This is true.
to give spirit from baby boomers to these people.
It's called succession. This word is called succession. Transfer the.
He said that young people should develop more faster.
Exactly. This is another very important thing. This is what's called time to autonomy. What he's saying, the time to autonomy, time to develop what? Time to develop an independent person is 12 to 15 years. So by the time, if you're hired tomorrow, if you're hired, anyone, if you are hired tomorrow by Shell, it will take 12 to 15 years to be able to say that you are an autonomous professional. Meaning you can make decisions, you can make the interpretations, be able to justify them. Right now in the industry, not because you are dumb or something, simply because the companies don't trust young professionals. Okay? And you can see this in Russia a lot. But okay, but where was I with this? I'm not sure where this was going to lead me. You said the whatever. The autonomy, okay, the autonomy of the people is very important. Okay? Now, what did he have to say about this problem? Is it the US specific? Is it oil and gas industry as a whole, or is it just service companies? Is it just oil and gas producing companies? What did he have to say about this?
He said about oil and gas.
Said about all the world.
Okay.
About this problem in Russia, in Europe, in Africa.
But not service companies.
But not service companies. Let's hear this.
Global phenomenon. How does it break down geographically? So it is really a global phenomenon, and this is really the data we provided was to go outside the US, and we do have good data with SPE. But
what is SPE? He says we have good data with SPE. Society of Petroleum Engineers. There are three organizations that are very important. There is SPE, Society of Petroleum Engineers. There is EAGE, which is Exploration, Association of Association of Geologists Exploration, and something like that. So this is mainly for geophysicists. And there is, which one did I forget? SPE, EAG.
Country Republic.
What does the phone say? I don't, yeah. I will come, yeah, I'll come back. But the SEC, no, not the SEC. GIE, not so much. How did I forget it? Okay, never mind. So they have good data with the SPE now.
We'll do that outside of the US. So it really depends on the country, but it is really a problem in the Middle East, it is a problem in Russia, it is a problem in Africa, obviously, for a different problem, but then it's really a global phenomenon.
And how does it split between the operating companies and the service companies?
So how does it split between the operating companies and the service companies? Does so what he says next is, does this problem kind of get further down the food chain? Do you know this? What is a food chain? So the food chain is it's a very, there is a Russian concept that I'm going to explain it. So you have like plants which are eaten by I don't know, bugs, which are eaten by birds, which are eaten. I can go. Don't look at me. I don't know how to go. This is a bird. Okay, fine. And so on. So the food chain. So down the food chain.
Yes, food chain. We changed chain. Yes.
Chain. You said the Russian word.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for tying up for the lead with me here. So I drew it in a wrong way. So this is up the food chain, right? And this is down the food chain. So service company is down the food chain because the oil and gas company, the producing companies, they use services all the time. So the service companies are down the food chain, right? You understand this hierarchy? Can you grab this concept?
Find that they're poaching the people from the service companies, and so they almost exported the problem further down the food chain.
Okay. You heard what he said, right? Another thing is poaching. What does it mean? Poaching. You have no idea, right? Poaching is a big problem. It's a huge problem in the service company because when a person matures, when he gets like 5, 6, 7 years experience in the service company, he gets hired by an oil and gas company. This is called poaching. And there are special non-poaching clauses in the legal agreements. When you sign a contract with the, when Schlumberger signs contracts with any company, with Gazprom, Lukoil, Tatneft, whatever, there is a special non-poaching clause. And you know what is a clause, right? A statement, a paragraph in the legal document, in an agreement. I lost you, right? Anyway, so non-poaching clause is something that says that the oil and gas company is legally prohibited, right, from hiring people from the service company who worked for them on the contract. They don't give a shit, they still hire people from the service companies. A lot. And typically the most brilliant ones. Now, no, the most brilliant ones actually get promoted very fast. The strategy of the service company, so what he says, what did he say about this, about what? The business model of a service company. Huh? Yeah, he did say it's different though, but what does it mean actually?
So the demographics of service industry and the oil and gas industry is very different. So we don't see this double amp in the service industry.
Again, double amp. It's not double amp. It's the same way the French people say hello, or they say how are you. Double amp. Double hump actually, right? Do you know the specifics of French language? They don't pronounce the first. So oil is, yeah, anyway. I'm not going to get deep into the example, but the hump is saying it like, There was a funny story when the training in Malaysia, we had a French lecturer who was saying, no asshole. So, let's make no asshole. It sounds like an asshole. Similar, but he actually wanted to say hassle, which is a total, hassle. You heard this thing out somewhere during the presentation. Hassle is...
make money.
No! No, wait. No. Hassle.
It's a dance.
Hassle is a... I'll put the correct translation. Hassle is... unnecessary troubles, let's say. Let's put it this way. Unnecessary... So the hustle means... it can mean an obstacle, but in Russia there is a concept which is very... I can remember it straight away. Yeah, my Russian is bad today. This one? No, that's not the hassle. Hassle in the industry is a problem, basically. Some problems that you meet down the process. Something that you... is something that makes the process difficult. Let's just put it this way. Okay. So it's maybe a barrier, it may be a whatever. I know this. I was going to explain. I can also say Gesundheit because English people sometimes say Gesundheit. Yeah, they do actually. Gesundheit means health in German. I don't know why they say it, but the thing is,
there is also Schönheit.
Schönheit? No, it's wellness. No. So this double is technically no.
So younger industry, because we've been recruited more. I mean, the business model is very different, and we have to rely on relatively, a young population to be able to deliver on the field.
So, service companies have to rely on the younger population to deliver on the services. Okay. This should give you a hint, right? So these people 3 or 4 years from now, from the service companies, 3 or 4 years or 5 years from now, will go to the industry as managers. Why am I so certain of this? What did he say that confirms my statement? Anyone?
Because of technology, you need to use modern.
It's simpler than just technology. Yes, it's the technology. Anyone? Why do I think that based on this presentation you can make a conclusion 3-4 years from now, people, young people will become more autonomous and become managers? What was I talking about?
Newcomer.
Right, the newcomers. So who are the newcomers?
Young people students.
Yeah, it's you. It's you. It's you and you and you and you and you. Not me, not them. Sorry. We're old. We're a kind of a dead wood. Okay. There's a different story.
Old wood, not dead.
Be careful what you say. Okay. Now, we're done with it. So any questions you have about this video? So who is this guy? This guy is making probably 20,000 to 25,000 euros per month for just saying these things. It's not counting the service revenue that he brings into the company. It's just his paycheck he receives every month. I'm not sure about 25 euros per day. It's an underestimation, but I don't know that seriously. Any questions?
No.
Did you get my message?
Yeah.
We should go to work.
There will be demand. There will be demand for young people more than you could expect. Anywhere, anyhow, anyone, right? There will be demand. Now, let's just quickly go for this thing. The way I already told you, the way I'm watching movies, I always watch them with English sound and English subtitles. The reason I put the subtitles on because I don't understand 100%. Modern movies, typical movies, it's very difficult to understand 100% because of all the nuances that they have in the movies. Go ahead. Dismissed.
Take it at home with you.
Right. So English movies, English subtitles.
Only English subtitles.
Only. Never Russian. Never. It's waste. It's useless. Two reasons why it's useless. Why it's useless to put Russian subtitles? Because you're not training your listening skills. You cannot, because when you're watching a movie and you read subtitles, the way it works, you hear the phrase and then you read the phrase. So if you didn't hear something well, you can read it, and then you understand it. Then you understand what is written in English. This is the same reason why I said don't use English-Russian dictionaries. Use English-English dictionaries. Same reason. You have to grab. I know it's difficult. I know. Don't tell me this. Don't give me this bullshit. I know it's very difficult.
Nobody said it will be easy.
Huh?
Nobody said it will be easy.
Exactly. Nobody said it will be easy. But 5 years down from now, you will understand this is the right way to excel, to master English, not just to be able to watch a few movies here and there, and listen to a few songs. Now, so this is the first reason why I put the English titles on, because you can read and follow what is said. The second thing is that when you put the Russian subtitles on, maybe you've seen it a few times. The Russian translation is complete shit most of the time. The reason it is so, like for instance, if you go watch a movie with Russian subtitles, with Russian dubbing, You know dubbing, right?
Yeah.
When they put the voice, the Russian voice over the original voice, and then you watch it in Russian. Sorry, then you watch it in the original language. You will understand that perhaps 25–30% of the content of the English jokes.
Translators are not smart.
Typically, yes, but there is another objective reason for that.
Because languages have different structures, different ideas behind the words.
More specifically, English language is more compact than Russian. So to be able to say the same phrase within the same time, you have to throw away 25% of Russian. Did you ever translate English text into Russian? If you have 5 pages of English, you will have 6–7 pages of Russian. To make this a 5-page document, you have to throw away 25% of content. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Never, ever watch with the Russian subtitles. It's far from original. By definition, there's 25% less information at least. Plus, as Alexander said, no jokes, no way of understanding the concepts. So, there's so many examples of bad translation. If you listen to Goblin, for instance, if you watch the movies in Goblin translation, I do watch. If I don't have any option, I watch them in Goblin translation. Not because he's swearing, not because he translates the F words and the rest like appropriately. Let's put it this way. But because he's very, very attentive to the detail. So every, like Guy Ritchie movies, for instance. The Guy Ritchie movies, all these pikeys and stuff. So the Snatch movie, The Snatch, yeah, with Brad Pitt, his translation is brilliant because he talked to all the native speakers to find out the exact details why are they called pikeys and what, yeah, all these nuances that are lost. If a person has just I'm talking about the regular translator. He just has a task of finish this translation by midday tomorrow. He doesn't give a shit about the details. He'll just output the first rubbish that comes to his mind. So, to conclude this, you go get a movie, you get English subtitles, you watch it, the movie with the subtitles on, you pause it. If you don't understand, if you start losing your track, and then you look up the words. Is it fun to watch movies this way? Not necessarily, but it is useful. It is for you. To be able to do it with ease next time. Write down the words, okay? So I've done my part. I said I was reading books and writing down all the words. I said this at the very first meeting, right? I don't have to do this anymore. With books, I do have to look things like epistemology and whatever this weird crap is that I'm reading now. But 100% of the grammar and language structure is. I can't understand specific terms, but I know the whole structure. And the best and last and best piece of advice is start with the movies that you already watched in Russian. There's hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds, but maybe tens of movies that you already watched in Russian that you can go and watch in English with English subtitles. And I can guarantee you, you will find the meanings you would never think were there in the movie originally. Because of this, 25% of it is lost, thrown away. Because it cannot be put into this format. I can guarantee you. Just go and check it. You don't have to take my word. Go and try it yourself. I like good movies, right? It's quite obvious. I like to watch movies and I like to talk about movies, but I'm not going to do this unless you ask any questions. It's just a few things I put up here. The reason I'm putting Batman, Iron Man, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Transformers, because these are mess. kind of mass culture. And mass culture is, by definition, the dialogues are not, they are simpler, somewhat. Dialogues are not that important, but at least this is actual information, in the sense that you have the most present language. Except for I'll show you, The Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Harry Potter. These three here, these are not just single movies, you know. Lord of the Rings is a trilogy, Hobbit is a trilogy, will be eventually. Harry Potter is what? 6, 7, 8 movies. 8 movies. And the first book I read, I said it was Lord of the Rings, the second book was Harry Potter. Harry Potter is English written book. The Lord of the Rings is also a book written by Englishmen. So you can hear a lot of English accents there. Actually Martin Freeman, who plays Hobbit, I'll show him in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You will see his accent. You will hear his accent. This is another reason to watch the original movies, because they have all sorts of accents, and this you can't translate it. It's just lost, it's wasted. So you are basically robbing yourself out of the full experience of the movie. You know the experience to rob, the expression to rob someone?
Yes.
To rob someone
Steal.
Huh? To steal, yes. So you're acting as yourselves thieves. You're stealing from yourself by watching non-original movies. I cannot watch Chinese movies, for instance, but I tried. Now, oops. Now let's see. I promise you. Oh yeah. I'll talk about this in a minute. Okay, so we have the movies. Movies! More movies. Let's see.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck. See? You wanted me. Here I am. I wanted to see what you'd do. And you didn't disappoint. You let 5 people die. Then you let Dent take your place. Even to a guy like me, that's cold. Where's Dent? Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever. Then why'd you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. No, you complete me.
Unfortunately, he died a few years ago. But there's a lot of great movies. Not talking about the Brokeback Mountain, for instance. I know that, I see that a few of you know the Brokeback Mountain.
It's a gay movie.
It's about the gay cowboys, yeah. But he's that good. As an actor, he is that good, and he's not gay by himself. But he is that good. He impersonates characters. You see, is considered one of the best scenes ever in the.
You know, the 1 month in a hotel and.
Yeah.
And.
He stayed in a hotel room for 1 month to be able to impersonate Joker, the character.
He played the dialogues behind the mirror for a month.
Behind the mirror.
Oh.
In front of the mirror. In front of the mirror. Oh, of course. Also, is a very good movie is Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. If you come around it, did you see it? Did you watch it? Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is his last role.
Johnny Depp?
Yes. Heath Ledger. Well, Johnny Depp was there. There are 2 other actors. So the reason they put Johnny Depp and 2 other actors there because he died before the movie was finished. And they kind of made this look like he has a lot of spoilers here, right? But go watch this movie, it's very good. So when he went behind this mirror, he became one of them. No, his visual changed. Now, the Iron Man.
My father is the reason you're alive.
The reason I'm alive is because you had a shot, you took it, you missed.
Did I? If you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him. And there will be blood in the water, and the sharks will come. The truth, all I have to do is sit here and watch as the world will consume you.
Where will you be watching the world consume me from? That's right. A prison cell. I'll send you a bar of soap.
Hey, Tony, before you go, palladium in the chest, painful way to die.
Ivan Dranko, so he's Russian. The accent is not as good as the guy. It's not that stereotypical, but it's still good. Like I showed you this piece of a movie where he said your software is shit. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Your software is shit. What he's saying is that you remember the second Iron Man. It's not the.
So it's the second part.
It's the second, yes. I'm sorry. I meant to put Iron Man 2 on there. But so he at Monaco racing. This guy Ivan Dranko, he make Dranko. Of course. He made the Iron Man, what was his name?
Tony Stark.
And that. Nobody noticed that.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. He made him look miserable because he made this device which made the Iron Man suit inefficient and so on. So Tony Stark visits him at the cell, at the jail cell. I've talked about this. And he's saying, all I have to do, Ivan Dranko, he's saying, all I have to do is sit here and watch the world consume you. Because people understood that Tony Stark, the Iron Man suit is not flawless, it can be broken, it can be dealt with, right? It's not perfect. So he's asking,
There's a world that will consume you. Where will you be watching the world consume me from? That's right. A prison cell. I'll send you a bar of soap.
so good? So he's asking, where are you going to be watching the world consume me from? So,
from the prison?
Oh yeah, from the prison cell. I'll send you a bar of soap. A bar of soap. And you wash your hands, you use soap, right?
Yeah. In Russian translation, there is, this joke is...
This present.
This present, yeah.
That's good. No, it's just, I didn't watch the Russian, I'm sorry. I just watched the original. But, my point here, in this movie, when Tony Stark says something, it's a joke. Something, all his acting, it's all about jokes. It's built on it's very, very good sense of humor. It's very intelligent. He's an intelligent guy, as you know. So I encourage you to watch it. It's a mass production movie. It's mass culture. There's a lot of action in there, but still, his dialogues are brilliant.
Hey, Tony, before you go, palladium in the chest.
Painful way to die.
Painful way to die.
No. It's the third one.
Wow. Where are we?
Exactly where we were.
In the missiles?
Apparently they've turned into a bowl of petunias. And a very surprised looking whale.
At an improbability factor of 8,767,128 to 1 against.
We have normality.
Normality, right. We can talk about normality till the cows come home.
What is normal?
What's home?
What are cows?
It's still nobody understood it. Someone did? Okay, so the reason is there's a less long story preceding this. They've been attacked by 2 missiles, nuclear missiles coming at their ship. So they hit the improbability drive button. That is the special type of engine, improbability drive button. And these nuclear missiles transformed into a bowl of petunias and this very surprised looking whale, right? Oi, wait. Somewhere on the
Bowl of petunias.
Bowl of petunias.
And a very surprised looking whale.
And the probability factor of...
I'm challenging you to write down this number. Seriously, take a pen, try to write it down.
Probability factor.
It's just out of curiosity, if you're able to do it. Right? You ready? Ready?
And the probability factor of 8,767,128 to 1 against.
Normality.
One more time, please.
Nobody, right?
8 million.
8 million something.
8,767,128
to 1 against. Unreal. Right, same with me. I watched it 10 times before. So I kind of picked up a few. You understand? Practice more. This, I don't know what was my point here, but we have to practice more. This is a good exercise. So she's saying, okay, so the improbability drive, you go to very improbable states of the space and matter, and then you come back. So this is called normality. So listen.
Normality, right. We can talk about normality till the cows come home.
By the way, what's his accent? What's his accent? The Martin Freeman? His native accent? Is quite distinguishably British. Just 3 more minutes, okay? So what he's saying, we can talk about normality till the cows come home. You know this expression in English? Till the cows come home, meaning all day long. So the cows come home in the evening, right?
Yes.
So we can talk about normality till the cows come home. So they're asking, what is normal? What's home? What are cows? Yeah, this is something you cannot translate into Russian. Just think about it. So you can talk about normality till the cows come home. So they're asking what is normal, what is home, what are cows. This last guy here he's from a different planet, so he doesn't know what the cows are. He never seen one. He's never seen one. He's never seen a cow. I'm not sure I'm getting through all of you, but the more movies you watch, the more you will start understanding.
We should to watch this movie.
Should to watch. You say this again, you sing a song, okay? Never use to watch. Should is also more word. Now, yeah, you can try. You can start with it. If you've seen it in Russian, and you can. I actually wanted to dub it in Russian, not to dub it, but put subtitles in Russian to it. Because I've translated the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book. I started making subtitles in Russian to it, but then I realized there's no point in it. Okay, now, where does this lead us to? A few more. There's a few kind of mathematician, kind of technical movies. P by Darren Aronofsky. It's an old movie. It's black and white. It's kind of difficult. But there is this crazy mathematician. Good Will Hunting is also about a crazy, not a crazy, but it's about a mathematician genius. It's a very good movie. It's by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and they are good actors, and they're good writers as well. Regardless of the fact that they've participated in many crappy, well, kind of mass production films. Good Will Hunting. I recommend. It's a good psychological movie. Did you watch it? Anyone? So, Beautiful Mind is a movie with Russell Crowe about John Nash. Do you know the Nash equilibrium? The theorem of the Nash equilibrium? The optimal solution in the game theory? The game, it's about game theory. So, it's a movie about Johnny Nash. Inception, Django the Free. In English, it's just Django. The Tarantino film?
I think that Departed is the best movie of DiCaprio.
Departed is a very good movie. So, pay attention. What's that?
Diaries of Basketball Player.
Diaries of... I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. Sorry. Maybe I'm too old for this. No. So the Inception, it's a remarkable movie by itself. It's a... If you don't watch... Do you know the name of it in Russian?
Inception?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody wants to say it in Russian. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's called The Beginning. For some reason. But yeah, it's all about... I guarantee you that I didn't watch the translated version, obviously. But I can guarantee you that it's total bullshit in translation. Watch the original. I dare you, watch the original. Then you tell me what you think about the translator's job. Okay? Okay. They're also good directors. Something, if you want to get more used to the British accents, Guy Ritchie is the director that makes a lot of that made a lot of movies like Snatch, Lock, Stock, Smoking Barrels, Revolver. No, not Revolver. Rock and Roller. These are good movies, and they are British, not just British. There are English and Irish and Scottish actors and a lot of accents. It's indispensable if you want to kind of dig into this. Is the way to go. Christopher Nolan, I think, is a good. He's on my, as you can see, my top 5, top 10 list of the directors. Christopher Nolan, Batman: The Beginning, Batman: The Dark Knight. Inception. Also Inception, yes, correct. And also a few of his movies from the Darren Aronofsky, by the way, he is kind of esoteric, right? So he made The Fountain with what was this guy with the iron claws? Not the X-Men. Huh? Yeah. Just forget it. I don't remember. So Tim Burton is a freak. In a very good sense. Tim Burton is a freak. Go pay attention. By the way, he made this 3D animated movie with Beckman Better called 9.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yes.
That's somewhat interesting.
Dolls.
Huh? About dolls, yeah. Dolls, yeah, it's that's not the whole story. He also made The Corpse Bride, and The Corpse Bride, yeah, you should actually, I suggest you write it. It's a cartoon with the puppets. So it was made maybe 10 years ago, but they spent like 2 or 3 years to make all the puppets and make all the animation. So when I was first mooching. Yeah, it's time to finish this. When I was first watching The Corpse Bride, I was wondering how the hell did he make it? Because you can see that all the puppets, you know the puppets? Yeah. All the puppets are real, yet they move with such precision and the scenes are so well made that you cannot believe that they literally made every frame by hand. You know, we put in a puppet, and you make a shot, then you move it a bit, then you make a shot. You understand this process, right? We're making puppet cartoons, not cartoons, but they are called cartoons, I think. The puppet animation, I think, is the right term for it. Corpse Bride? Nobody watched that? There's a lot of, it's like a musical, so there are a lot of songs there. I heard you. Oh, what do we have here? That's good. That's the return on my investment. Okay. Any questions?
No.
My big question for you is, where the bloody hell are your thesis? Don't bring the thesis, you don't send me the thesis within 2 weeks, I will bite you. I will bite your head off. It's time. I'm going to be very disappointed if you just sit here, watch, listen to me talking, and take nothing out of it. The way to take something out of this is for you to participate in the whole process. So we're going through the basics, reading, listening. Next time I'm going to talk about writing things. So what I want to do, what I want you to do, is to have something written down so that after the seminar you will be able to make corrections and you see how you improve what you've written. You see a gradual, but constant, but you can see the improvement in your approach, in your understanding. Without this, you will not be able to see an improvement. It's a waste of your time. Okay? I don't mind you coming here and listening and participating in these exercises, but guys, seriously, get maximum value out of it. Okay? Now, second home assignment. This is a more enjoyable part. Watch a movie in Russian. If you didn't watch it if you just watched the movie recently, you will not probably find it in English. So find a movie that you watched before, but watch it again in Russian. Then watch it in English with subtitles on. Right? And the third one is kind of coming, it's here all the time. So think through. Okay. Yes, I guess I didn't say one important thing. Yeah, go ahead.
The third point is about movie. The idea of movie.
I'm not sure I follow.
We should watch a movie in Russian and in English, and then we should.
No, God, no. You watch a movie, you draw your own conclusions, whether it's worth it or not. Keep it, you can keep it for yourself. Next time, for instance, you can come to the class and say, I've watched whatever, The Secret Garden with Johnny Depp. And I think it's it's an amazing movie, but I've never thought it was as amazing before because the translation is complete rubbish. That's what you would typically say. Okay. Now, what I forgot to say completely is that there is a raise your hands who watched the Lie to Me series. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're just raising hands because of the group hive mind idea. The Lie to Me in Russian, it's theory of lies. In Russian translation, it's theory of lies. Lie to Me is an excellent. Now, I'm not sure I will be serious with. No, it's well. Don't use it. Soap opera. Nobody knows what's a soap opera. There's no such term in English, by the way, so that you know. We use this term. It was, I don't know where it came from, but when I asked.
But how we could name Santa Barbara, for example?
Yes, that's here. It's what we call it here in Russia. Nobody abroad. Nobody abroad. I asked this question. What about this soap opera? They said, what the hell is soap opera? There's no such meaning. There's no such.
It came from America.
No. No.
Read about it.
You might read all you want, but the people don't know it. Okay, so it came from America, but the Americans don't know about it. I'm sorry. Now, it's not. It's TV series. They had 3 seasons. Lie to Me. It's with Tim Roth, and you know Tim Roth. He's a British actor. There's Tarantino's 4 Rooms, and then there's a number of other movies.
Is he British? Australian?
He's British.
British?
Tim Roth, plus 4 Rooms, and what was this then? The very famous movie Pulp Fiction by Tarantino as well.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, exactly. These are good movies. With TV series, rather, this is an important takeaway for you. It's about the non-verbal communication. It's about the body language and he calls it micro-expression. There's actually micro-expressions. So, let's try this. Just ask me a question. Any question?
How are you?
I'm fine, actually. Yeah.
You're lying.
No.
Are you sure?
But you could.
But what does this gesture mean? Actually?
You don't.
So
don't
I'm
want to
taking a space back, a step back, and I'm assuming a defensive position. So it means that I have no confidence whatsoever in what I just said. There's hundreds of these things described in the movie. Why I'm saying this to you is because when you're listening to a person and you don't have 100% understanding of the words, you're bound to have to look at the gestures, at the body language. Body language is as important. Actually, the psychology studies show that the body language is more important than the words themselves. About 53%, I think, of the information comes from observing a person speaking. Not from the words, not from the intonation, but from the body language. I told you all this shit. Don't you remember? Maybe I did. Anyway, so this is a very good movie, and it's a very good exercise to try and to observe people when they do things, when they say things. So I'm, making conscious effort. It will keep your attention level higher, by the way. Try to, you do all this subconsciously. Because when you don't know all these covert science techniques, but you feel that something's wrong with the answer, right? You doubt the answer. The point I'm trying to make rather, is that your body knows that something's wrong with the answer. You have to bring it to the conscious level, right? So you have to make conscious effort to understand what your body feels. Now, with this esoteric kind of thing, let's wrap this thing up. And I'm going to say thank you guys for coming. And probably see you next time. No, seriously, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you too.